Welcome divers! Today's book review is about Guide to Scuba Diving by Cristina Biasiello. This book is part of the series How Expert, which claims to discover, empower, and maximize the talents of everyday people who have a passion, knowledge, and expertise for a specific topic. And specifically for this book, to help alleviate the fears of the fearful. To overcome stress, fears, and technical limitations, to achieve a high level of performance is our core topic. The author herself claims to be an avid scuba diver for over a decade, and from what we have understood, she is neither a dive guide nor a diving instructor. Of course, being an expert does not necessarily mean being an instructor or a guide, but those who are not may have only faced their own fears, if any. In such cases, the experience these divers have in solving problems related to fears and stress could be quite limited. This is not necessarily a limitation, and on the contrary, it can be its strength. The diver's perspective is not often addressed in a book. Experienced instructors or dive guides may tend to forget the feeling of their first dives, and in some cases, they may underestimate the difficulties that novice divers face. They have seen them so many times that they could become insensitive and annoyed by them. But then they become novices themselves again. When, for example, they have to take an airplane, moving out of their comfort zone.
In this book, we were looking for this perspective, a suggestion not from an expert crew member. We were looking for a suggestion from the person sitting next to us, hopefully a frequent flyer. Especially when we are no longer beginners, it is difficult to find a book or course where everything is new and able to change events much. Most probably, it will be a single sentence or suggestion that is worth the whole experience. As divers, we have at our disposal the official manuals from diving agencies, then the manuals of expert professionals in various fields, like instructors, doctors, and so on. And now, even from the final consumers of the industry, the divers. Divers have learned to dive from instructors, who have learned from agencies. If diving agencies were perfect, then we would not have books from instructors. If instructors' books were perfect, then we would not have books from divers. At any point in this sequence, the hope is to find a different perspective and fill any gaps left by the previous player. If a book or any other type of content is not able to add a different point of view, or to fill at least one of the left open gaps, repeating what it has been repeated already many times, then it is probably useless.
With this in mind, let's explore this book. Of course, looking for something useful. The book is a collection of 101 tips, tricks, and lessons for all diver status, all listed in the detailed book index and divided into chapters and categories. Most of them are breakdown mainly between technique, environment, and fun diving. After the number one tip about how to get certified, the book goes straight into what interests us the most: stress, fears, and technical limitations, and hopefully how to overcome them. The author calls them the tips for terrors, and they are about the fear of sharks, head explosions due to wrong ear equalization, claustrophobia, the terror of running out of air, and the terror of decompression sickness. We are not sure that this list of fears is what really stresses divers, and additionally, our opinion is that the offered solutions are not very clear and workable. Moreover, these same topics are widely covered in the official courses offered by the diving agencies. They are a repetition of what already certified divers know, or of what future divers will find in their courses. The book doesn't add much to what we could find in the official manuals of mostly of the diving agencies, and in some cases, the book is also a bit too vague, with the risk of increasing confusion. We did not find the next seat person's suggestion that we hoped to find.
The next part of the book offers instead a wide collection of suggestions from the person sitting next to us, touching a wide range of topics related to diving, such as boat etiquette, how to tip the diving staff, what to bring for a diving trip, how to buy gear, and how to set it up, and so on. But we have the impression that the author described her personal experience. Many divers, probably with similar experiences, used to dive in similar scenarios, could confirm that these are wise suggestions. But a huge number of other divers could say that some of these suggestions don't work in their diving context, and as before, we don't agree with all these tips. If we skim the marginal and non-essential information, such as boat etiquette or equipment purchasing, and we focus on the strictly technical aspects, such as checking the proper quantity of needed weights, or considerations about BCD and buoyancy, we can say that we would not use these terms and examples, and we would be surprised to find expert instructors or divers using them. The cleaning equipment section takes approximately the same length and reading time as the Tips for Terrors one. The rest of the book is mainly divided between environmental considerations, which we believe is the most valuable part of the book, and travel tips, such as lists for the best diving destinations of various types, liveaboard versus hotel considerations, luxury destinations, romantic destinations if you travel with non-divers, with here and there some more technical considerations about buddy checks, currents, shore dives, and so on. Even underwater hunting and how to search for the perfect dive buddy are discussed.
In conclusion, would we suggest this book to overcome stress and fears? Or more simply, to divers who wish to improve their skills, taking them to a higher level? Many divers will find the book a funny, easy, and fast read. It touches several topics, and the idea to order the tips by number, till and over the symbolic 100, it pushes to discover always the next one. And surely, someone will find some of them useful, and maybe someone even be able to put some of them into practice. Probably, the book was not specifically thought to help divers overcome stress and fears, and they were one of the many different touch topics, no more and no less important than the others. But this doesn't take away from the fact that the book itself was a tool from an expert diver, also suggested as a solution to alleviate the fears of the fearful. In this regard, we wouldn't recommend it to divers who are struggling, nor to those who don't have any issues or fears to overcome, but are looking to enhance their performance level, seeking ways to improve their technique. We didn't find particularly useful insights, and in fact, we came across some tips we didn't entirely agree with. Of course, we're not talking about topics related to travel, favorite dives, and so on, which remain highly personal subjects.
Please find in the description a link to download a written takeaway of this video, as well as the references of the book and the author. Thank you for watching. Remember that by clicking on the bell and by subscribing, you will be informed about new videos, while by sharing and giving a like to this video, you will help to spread greater awareness among divers.